What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's finally time. I guess I answer this question that's been asked repeatedly over the last year. It seemed like that question slowly faded, but obviously after the past 2 days, everybody came out of the woodwork and flooded the messages, all right, and comments asking about what my opinion was on this topic. So we are going to go over it. I'm going to cover three specific things that we can put and grasp our hands around that have substance to them. All right. It's not going to be, theoretical, hypothetical. Okay. No conspiracy, no, if the stars and the moon and everything aligns right, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be where we can actually back it up with cold, hard, specific evidence. Okay. And the first one is going to be how I formulate price targets and how I have formulated my price target. When people have asked this question to me, okay, really one-on-one, I've never made a video about this. I've never said this in my video. And I've certainly never clickbaited this, okay, in the titles. That I am certain of, okay? So, and the next one we're going to talk about, which is very, very important. Some people might interpret this as when to sell, how to sell, but in reality, it's how to manage a position. And I feel like a year ago, maybe people that got involved in this, or probably 14, 15 months ago, people got involved in this, didn't really have that knowledge. Now, I'm sure after a year, you probably have a much better understanding. But I'm going to talk about exactly how it relates to AMC. So we're going to cover everything. So let's get right into it. First off, I want to talk about price targets. Okay, so it's very easy to try to run some numbers and come up with something that is theoretical. And I feel like a lot of people come up with these price targets based off of personal interest. Okay, you look at how many shares you have, you look at what you want, okay, and there comes your personal interest, okay, or people will choose something based off of that total number dollar value. I have X shares, X price, nets me, 500,000, 1 million, okay, 10 million, whatever that number wants to be. And that's how they formulate a price target. But right now we're looking at the SPY, and, this is completely relevant. So stick with me on this. The reason why we're looking at this is because every day, all right, I put out, what I'm looking at, what my watch list is. Okay. Everybody inside the group, we talk about these levels, and it's very easy to say, okay, if SPY breaks above this 410.85, okay, which is previous support from the day, acting as previous resistance, pre-market high, my first price target is this 412.20. We talk about this 412.20 actually all day as a pivot mark. That's my first price target. Well, the reason why I came up with that price target is because I have proof by looking to the left that this acted once as previous resistance. You can clearly see it after hours and so forth. And my next price target comes from this level right here, this 413.70. Okay, that's my next price target. And clearly, I have had these levels. You can see, I drew them from intraday, and everybody in the group that watches can verify. And clearly, it's exactly what happened. And there's a reason why, because I can look to the left. All right. Now, even if you zoom out, I've been talking for quite some time. All right. Even Houdini in the group, said back in February, I mentioned that 385 level, on the SPY, on the daily, all the way back in February. And the reason being was because of what I saw looking at the charts to the left. All right. I've also said that this latest bear market rally off that 385 level that we've bounced off of, even though we got that wick down to 380, that 385 on the close, was 420 to 424. And that's not something I want. It's not something I just pull out. It's not something I say, oh, well, the calls that I bought at this time will be this and I'll make this amount of money. No. It's by looking at something I can put substance to, which is the charts. Okay. And, it doesn't matter what your, opinion on technical analysis is. It exists for a reason. All right. So that's my first, aspect when we talk about price targets. And when you look at something like AMC and you see a chart, and I'm going to go out to the weekly chart so we can really get a better picture. When you see a chart that looks like this, okay, you can have, first price targets of where we're going to cycle. where that next resistance is. All right, I put this line, here, at that 32 level, we wicked a little bit above it, because it acted as support previously. But there comes a time that it doesn't matter, and I can zoom all the way out to, whatever you want me to, zoom out to. Okay, but there comes a time where, let me zoom out, get all the way up to, doesn't matter what number, okay? But there comes a time where once you get over that 7260 level that we've talked about, it becomes a blue ocean, okay? And you have nothing to the left to look at, right? That's going to really solidify what's going to act as resistance, what's going to act as, support, where we're going to cycle, how the price action is going to react based off of previous levels. It's a completely blue ocean. Okay. And that actually leads me to my second point. And I've learned this, and then I really hope this also helps you with any of your other speculative plays that you guys are in. And I've learned this from a phenomenal trader. Okay. I'm sure you guys, Ripster, he's all over Twitter, phenomenal. And he said this, and it really helped me, especially on plays that I was trying to chase to the downside. It's what is high can always go higher, and what is low can always go lower. Now, obviously, it does get to a point where, a stock might be at $15, it goes down to $1. Chances are they'll do a reverse split and so forth. But it really holds true. What is high can still go higher, and what is low can still go lower. Okay. So when you get to this blue ocean, all of this becomes completely hypothetical. All right. You can look at GameStop and say, oh, well, GameStop got to this level, so I think that it's going to react. The price action is going to react like this at this level, but it all just becomes hypothetical. Okay. So just keep that in mind going forward when it comes to, price targets. First thing is the price targets people have made are off of their own, personal interest in this. And second, it becomes a blue ocean once you get into uncharted territory. Okay. Now, when you talk about other things, like I've mentioned, okay, market cap, okay, I've mentioned, what float size and how that reacts. Absolutely. But it's going to be 100% based on the price action when we get there. Okay. And there's not anybody in this world that can tell them, maybe the manipulative market makers. But other than that, there's not anybody in this world that can tell you exactly how the price action is going to be at that level. One might think to themselves, there's got to be buyers, okay? And it's not just, shorts that are going to be covering. There's got to be active buyers. There's supply and demand. Everything's got to move in order to get that price over 100, over 1,000, over 2,000, over 3,000, over 10,000. It's got to continue as it goes up. But nobody can tell you how it is going to react at those levels, okay? Now let's talk about the second thing, which is very important. And this has to do with managing positions. All right. And there's going to be two things. All right. And this really relates to a lot of other things, okay, in life, even though I'm not going to give everybody a life lesson here, but it's relates two things here. Okay. Nobody ever really sells at the top. Okay. Nobody ever really picks up at the bottom. Yeah, you might get lucky, get intraday, look at some levels and so forth. But when you're looking at a massive picture like we're looking at over a huge time frame, it's very hard to be able to time things very specifically. Also, because we don't have levels to go off of once we get over that 72.62. It's not like you're going to be selling, all right, I know I got resistance at $864. You know what I mean? I'm going to sell at 862. We don't have that. Okay. So there's going to be two things. There's one, you're going to sell before and inevitably wish you held. It's just natural. Or you're going to ride that mountain. You're going to get to the top. You're going to come back down. And then eventually you're going to sell. Okay. Or you're just going to ride the mountain all the way down. Okay. And think that, there's always a higher peak, which inevitably, if it does get higher, you're going to do that again. All right. Because that's just the natural cycle of it. But there's going to be two things. Either you're going to sell early or you're going to sell too late. If you sell too early, you're going to wish that you held longer. And if you sell too late, you're going to wish you sold earlier. Okay. So when it comes to when to sell, how to sell, and so forth, if you're unfamiliar with price action, you're going to be able to tell just to see how exactly how the price moves on a daily close. Okay. if you're not familiar, like I said, looking at it on intraday, understanding how volume works, okay, understanding order flow and time and sales. I get that. Not everybody does, not everybody has the time to, but seeing exactly how it closes, there is the whole scaling out of a position, okay, slowly getting out of a position, just like you should slowly be adding to a position, slowly get out of a position, understand where to be able to minimize and get out and get out. Okay, that's also going to be the best when it comes for everybody. All right, if you think that everybody's going to be able to get to whatever the ultimate price target of the vast majority of the of AMC holders is, we're all just going to click sell and get order filled. It's not going to happen. There's just not enough liquidity to be able to do that. Okay, so inevitably you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt your neighbor. All right, so it's be able to slowly get out of a position. My last remark about all of this, and I mean this with all my heart, and when I started creating YouTube videos, it was for two reasons. One, I really wanted to do something that I could feel like was personally satisfying. Okay, I built a marketing business that was great, but I was just either clients were happy and they didn't return your phone calls, or they were unhappy and they would be yelling at you the next day. And phone sales just wasn't something I wanted to continue to do for the rest of my life. And I'm not saying YouTube is. This is only the beginning, but I've always wanted to be able to give back. Okay, but inevitably, when we had talked about this, I never fully mentioned